Bugungi darsimizda Cambridge 17. Wow. Bugungi darsimizda Cambridge 17. Buni ham qora qilib. Bugungi darsimizda Cambridge 17 test 2 reading passage 2 analizini ko'rib chiqamiz. Yangi kitob o'tgan kuni chiqdi. Keling shuni analizini ko'ramiz qanaqa qilib ishlash kerak ekan buni. Passage 2, a second attempt to domesticating the tomato. Demak, tomato ya'ni pomidorni domesticate qilish, ya'ni xonakilashtirishdagi ikkinchi urinish degan demak mavzu ekan. Bu ko'pincha bu asosan biologiya, botanika va tarixga bog'liq bo'lsa kerak. Savol turlarini ko'ra olamiz. Which section contains the following information? Quyidagi informatsiyalar qaysi section, ya'ni qaysi paragrafda berilganligini topishimiz kerak. Nota bene, you may use any letter more than once. Demak, bitta letterni bir martadan ko'p vaziyatda ishlatishingiz mumkin bo'lar ekan. Undan keyingi savol esa list of researchers, matching researchers. You may, nota bene again, you may use any letter more than once. Bu odamlarni topib olamiz, o'qiymiz va javoblarni topishga harakat qilamiz. Undan keyin esa one word only, short, like filling gaps. Faqatgina savollarni o'qigan holda javoblarni topishimiz mumkin bo'ladi. Va bu savol turida masalan nechta savol bor ekan? Bunda 5 ta savol bor ekan. Bizda nechta paragraf bor? 2 ta, 4 ta, 5 ta paragraf bor ekan. Demak, 4 tasini ishlatamiz. 5 dan 4 tasini ishlatamiz va bu savollarga javoblarni topish uchun eng yaxshi bo'ladigan struktura faqatgina tekstni o'qib chiqish va bu qismda sizlarga ham tekstni o'qib chiqishni taklif qilaman. Suggestion, ya'ni maslahat beraman, tekstni o'qimasanglar o'zingizga qiyin bo'lib ketadi. Chunki nima bo'ladi? Masalan, 14 ni o'qiysiz. Refers to a type of tomato that can resist a dangerous infection. Resist dangerous infection, ya'ni xavfli infeksiyaga qarshi kurasha oladigan tomatoni type. Topasizlar, qidirasizlar, hamma narsani o'qib chiqasizlar, bittasini topishingiz mumkin, lekin har bitta savol turiga, masalan, keyingi 4 ta savolga ham xuddi shunaqa qilish kerak. Ya'ni tekstni 5 marta o'qib chiqish kerak bo'ladi, faqatgina shu savollarga javobni topish uchun. Chunki biz masalan resist dangerous infection qidirayotganimizda boshqa mavzularga, boshqa fikrlarga e'tibor bermaymiz. Shuning uchun ham birinchi navbatda o'qigan holda keyin savollarga javob topgan yaxshiroq. Yoki undan tashqari masalan hammasini o'qib qolmayman, juda ham ko'p desanglar, masalan 2 ga bo'lgan yaxshi. A, B ni o'qiysiz, keyin C, D, E ni o'qiysiz. 2 ga bo'lgan holda javoblarni birma-bir topishga harakat qilasizlar. Masalan, passage 2, passage 3 da asosan eng yaxshi strategiya bu hamma narsani o'qib chiqish hisoblanadi. Masalan, passage 2 da xuddi shunaqa aytmoqchi bo'lganim, shunaqa matching information savollar kelganda, xuddi shunaqa hamma narsani o'qib chiqish bu eng yaxshi strategiya bo'ladi. Keling shu ishni birgalikda hozir bajarib ko'ramiz. Hope it took at least 3,000 years for humans to learn how to domesticate wild tomato and cultivate for food. Now super teams have done it all over again in less than 3 years. They have done it better in some ways, as redomesticated tomatoes are more nutritious than what at present. The approach relies on a revolutionary CRISPR genome editing technique in which changes are deliberately made to the DNA of a living cell, allowing genetic material to be added, removed, and altered. The technique couldn't only improve existing crops, but it could be used to turn thousands of wild plants into useful and appealing foods. Surely. In fact, a third team in the USA has already begun to dispose relative tomato called ground cherry. This fast-track domestication could help make the world's food supply healthier and far more resistant to diseases such as the rust fungus devastating wheat crops. This could transform what we eat, and there are 50,000 edible plants in the world. 90% of our energy comes from just 15 crops. It's interesting. We can now mimic the domestication course of the major crops like rice, maize, sorghum, and others. Then we might try to domesticate plants that have never been domesticated. Surely, wild tomatoes, which are native to Andes region, produce pea-sized fruits. Pea-sized? Seriously, is this? Pea-sized. Over many generations, people such as Aztecs and Incas transformed by selecting and breeding plants that with mutations in their genetic structure. Mutation degani change in organism. O'zlaring ko'rgan edim, mana bunaqa yozuvchilarga, yulduzchilarga e'tibor berishing kerak, chunki u yerda shu narsa so'zlarni bunaqa topic specific so'zlarni tushuntirishga harakat qilishadi. Masalan, organizmda genetik strukturasidagi o'zgarishlar, pass down to later generation, keyingi avlodlarga o'tadigan o'zgarishlar mutation deb atalar ekan. Desirable traits such as large fruits. Interesting, I didn't know that. But every time a single plant with a mutation is taken from a large population for breeding, much genetic diversity is lost. Surely, Sometimes desirable mutation come with less desirable traits. For instance, the tomato strain grown for supermarkets have lost much of their flavor. Demak, tam yo'qolgan ekan. By comparing the genomes of modern plants to those of their wild relatives, biologists have been working out what genetic changes occurred as plants were domesticated. Tushunarli. Teams in Brazil, China have now used this kind of knowledge to reintroduce this change from scratch while maintaining or even enhancing the desirable traits of wild strains. Demak, ikkita paragraf o'qidik, endi savollarga javoblarni topishimiz mumkin. Reference to dangerous infection ko'rganimiz yo'q. Explanation of how problems can arise from focusing only on a certain type of tomato plant. Buni ham ko'rganimiz yo'q hali. A number of examples of plants that are not cultivated at present that could be used as a food source. Buni ko'rdik, masalan 50,000 edible plants deyishdi. A bo'ladi paragraf. Hop. A comparison between early domestication of comparison between early domestication of tomato and more recent research. Demak bu A bo'ladi. Probably bo'ladi menimcha bu. Prosta A yozib qo'yaylik. Nima farqi bor bizga? Keyin o'zgartirib turamiz. Hop, keyingisi a personal reaction to the flavor of tomato that has been genetically edited. Personal reaction haqida o'qiganimiz yo'q, shuning uchun ham keyingisiga o'tib ketamiz. Hop, demak, bizda researcherlar bormi? Bizda researcherlar George Kudla bor. Bo'ldi. Hop, George Kudla. Domestication of certain plants could allow them to adapt to future environment. Yo'q, by adaptive growing and editing unusual plants may not be accepted on our researchga. Narsani ko'rganim yo'q. It's not advisable for a future generation of certain research. Nope. Efforts to domesticate one wild fruit are limited by the cost. Nope. Humans only make use of a small. Bu bor. Humans only make use of small proportion of plant food available on Earth. Bu to'g'ri. Chunki bu yerda yozilgan mana George Kudla aytgan 50,000 ta, 50,000 ta bor. Lekin biz 90% energiyamizni 15 tasini olamiz. Bu juda ham kulgili. Shuning uchun ham George Kudlani olamiz deb yozib qo'yamiz oxirgi savolga javobni. A. Last answer is A. O'zining ko'rganligida bu list of researchers, demak researcherlarni belgilash yoki matching shunaqa informatsiyalarni belgilash tartibda kelmaydi. Umuman tartibda kelmaydi. Masalan, 16-savolga javob A bo'ldi, 14, 15, 17, 18 keyin beriladi. 23-savolga javob A bo'ldi, masalan, paragraf A dan olganmiz, lekin qolgan keyingi savollar keyingi paragraflardan olingan. Shuning uchun ham tartibga qaramaysiz, bu tartibda kelarkanmi, kelmas ekanmi deb o'ylamaysiz. Masalan, 23 ga javob paragraf A dan keldi. 20 ga javob, 19 ga javob paragraf F dan kelishi mumkin. Shunda ham shunga e'tiborli bo'lib ketishning kerak bo'ladi. Undesirable traits such as a loss of may be caused by mutation in tomato gene. Buni topdik. Mana undesirable resultni topdik. Mana undesirable. Mana tomato strain grows for supermarket have lost much of their flavor. Javob loss of flavor bo'ladi. Undesirable trait. Ya'ni ta'mni yo'qolishi. Demak, ta'mni yo'qolishini flavor doesn't matter chunki bittasi American, bittasi British, lekin e'tiborli bo'ling. Qanaqa yozilgan bo'lsa, mana flavor was u bilan yozib qo'yishdimi? U bilan yozing siz ham. E'tiborli bo'ling. Shuni ham xato qilib olishlari mumkin. Bitta savolga, masalan, bitta harfni qo'shmay ketganligi sizga qancha qimmatga tushishi mumkin. Xo'p, bu undesirable trait yozishgan, masalan, desirable trait demak hajmi kattalashishi, undesirable ta'mni yo'qolishi o'z ko'rgazib flavor bo'ladi javob qisqasi. By modifying one gene in tomato plant, researchers have made tomatoes 3 times its original. Buni ko'rganim yo'q, 3 times degan narsani. Demak, keyingi qismida bor ekan. Demak, CDE da hammasida keyingi javoblarimiz bor. CDE ni o'qiymiz, hamma savollarga javoblar topishga harakat qilamiz. Kudla's teams made 6 changes altogether. For instance, they tripled the size of fruit by editing a gene. Size bo'lar ekan demak, maqsadni o'z ko'rgansak, by modifying one gene called fruit weight, they made tomatoes 3 times its original size bo'ladi javob. Mana bu qismda javob berilgan. Original size. Bitta qarayda shoqim bo'lyapti. Negadir. Davom etamiz. Hop. O'qish davom etamiz prosta. And increase the number of tomatoes per truss. Truss, what is by editing another? I don't know what is truss. While the historical domestication of tomatoes reduced levels of red pigment, lycopene, sought to have potential health benefits. The team branded money to boost its instead. Vitamin has twice as much. This is equal to one. Aha, I don't understand. They're quite tasty, a little bit strong, very aromatic. The team in China redomesticated several strains of wild tomatoes with desirable trace loss in the domesticated tomatoes. This way, they managed to create a strangers to a common disease called bacterial spot race, which can devastate the yields. Javobimiz bo'ladi, C bo'ladi mana bu javob. Chunki ko'rdik, o'qidik, u yoqda qanaqadir mana yozilganda. Domestication of certain plants could allow them to adapt. Oh. I'm sorry. C bo'lmaydi bu. Bu C bo'ladi mana. Mana bu C bo'ladi. C bo'ladi javob prosto. Nimaga C bo'ldi? A reference to type of tomato that can resist a dangerous infection. Mana bu qismda domesticated create a strain, mana yangi tur, could common disease called bacterial spot race, devastate yields. They also create another strain that's more salt tolerant, higher levels of vitamin C. Javob C bo'ladi javob. Qisqasi. Xo'p, demak, kudla. Qisqasi o'qib ketaveramiz. Meanwhile, Joy see one egg or something and something. As a boy sees, doesn't matter. This had to use the same approach to domesticate the ground cherry or golden berry for the first time. The fruit looks similar to the close relative camb gooseberry. Ground cherries are already sold to a limited extent in the US, but they are hard to produce because the plant has a sprawling growth habit. Use small fruits fall off the branches when ripe. Tushunarli. Team has added the plants to increase fruit size, make their growth more compact, and to stop fruits dropping. There's potential for this to be a commercial crop. She adds that taking the fork further would be expensive because of the need to pay for the license for the CRISPR technology and get regulatory approval. Expensive haqida ko'rdik. Mana present efforts to domesticate one wild fruit are limited by the cost involved. Javobimiz D bo'lar ekan. D. Yana bitta javobni ham topgandim. Bu qismda ko'rib olishim kerak. Bu qismni ham ko'rdik. A type of tomato which has not badly affected by and which was rich in vitamin C was produced by the team of researchers. Mana vitamin rich mana bu qismda salt tolerant. Demak, tolerant demagani o'shanga chidamli. Salt affected by salt bo'ladi javobimiz. Salt. O'zlaring ko'rganlaringdek, masalan, 26 ni topdim. Paragraf C'dan topdim. Agar o'qiyotgan vaqtlaringda e'tibor berishing kerak, eslab qolishing kerak informatsiyani. Agar eslab qolmasanglar, e'tiborli bo'lmasanglar informatsiyaga, chunki menga qiziq, shuning uchun eslab qolaman. E'tiborli bo'lmasanglar, eslangdan chiqib ketadi, yana bir marta o'qishga to'g'ri keladi. Bo'ldi, keyingisi. Demak, no. Why it's noisy? Who's listening to music? I don't understand these people. Explanation of how problems can arise from focusing on a certain type of tomato. Nope. A personal reaction. Nope. No personal reaction. This approach could boost the use of we have personal reaction. They are quite tasty, says Kudla. They make personal reaction. What I can job C? What a personal reaction? Mana C. Hey. Bold. Keyingi o'tamiz. Rangni o'zgartira olamiz. Doesn't matter. Any color. Oxirgisini o'qiymiz. This approach could boost the use of many obscure plants such as but it will be hard for new foods to grow. So popular with farmers and consumers as they become new staples of crops. Xo'p, odamlar atrofida popular bo'lishi qiyin deyishibdi. Qani bu yoqda shunaqa informatsiya. Mana may not be accepted by large scale. Bu kim aytdi buni? Jonathan Jones aytdi. D chiqib ketdi demak. D chiqib ketdi bu qismda. D. Mana buni ham cause involved. Kim aytdi cause involved deb? Men buni alohida boshqacha belgilab qo'yibman. Buni ana deb o'ylabman. Nima edi? Matching information o'ylabman. Paragraf D dan oldim. Kimligini bilmayman lekin. Xo'p, cost 1 egg javob C bo'lar ekan bu. Tushunarli. Davom etamiz. Xo'p. By three teams have their eye on the plants that could be catapulted into the mainstream, including foxtail, shunaqa. Copy? What is this? By choosing wild plants that are drought or heat tolerance, says Gao. We could create crops with thrive in the as the planet warms. Demak, future environmental challengelarga allow them to adapt qiladigan mana Gao aytarkan, Gao bo'ladi, javob B bo'ladi. B bo'ldi javob. Keyingiga o'tamiz. Demak, javobni shu qismdan oldim. Mana qismdan oldim. Xo'p, Kudla didn't want to reveal the species were in this team chat because the CRISPR made them so easy. Anyone with the right skills could go to their lab and do this. Demak, reveal the species. Demak, Kudla xohlamagan ekan odamlarga ko'rsatishni. Demak, A bo'lar ekan bu javob. Xo'p, demak, bu savollarning hammasiga javob berdik. Bu savollarning hammasiga javob berdik. Mana bularga javob bermadik. Xo'p, reference to type resistant topdik. Can arise for some certain type of tomato plant. I don't know how problem can arise. Where is the problem? I don't see problem. Xo'p, I don't know. Problem can arise. Problem can arise. Where is problem? Huh. Where's problem? I don't know. Tomato plant. Tomato plant. Qayerda tomato plant? Ida tomato plant haqida ma'lumot yo'q. Dida tomato plant haqida ma'lumot yo'q. I don't know what is it. I'm tired, seriously. Okay. Where is the problem? Mana. But every time a single plant with a mutation is taken from a larger population for breeding, much genetic diversity is lost. The mutations come with less real trace. Qisqasi mana shu bo'ladi menimcha. B bo'lar ekan menimcha. Bu javob B belgilab qo'yaman. Hamma savollarga javoblar berdik. Javoblarni tushuntirdim. Iloji boricha, lekin men energiyam qolmadi. Boshqa tushuntira olmayman. Xo'p, endi prosta savollarga javoblarni tekshirib chiqamiz. Chunki men bilmayman to'g'ri javobni, xato javobni. Men tekshirmayman, o'zing tekshirib olasizlar. Xo'p, demak, shu bilan bugungi darsimiz o'z oxiriga yetadi. Savollaring bo'ladigan bo'lsa yoki birorta tekshirib olinglar. Xato qilgan bo'lsam, kommentariyada qoldiringlar. Birorta savol bo'ladigan bo'lsa ham kommentariyada qoldiringlar. Kanalga a'zo bo'linglar. Keyingi darsda ko'rishguncha, xayr everyone.